Coming up next on KPBS Evening Edition, how will tens of thousands of soldiers who've returned from Iraq restart their lives?
And community organizers are gathering public feedback to meet the needs of San Diego's population boom over the next 40 years. KPBS Evening Edition starts now.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Amitha Sharma, in for Joanne Farian.
And I'm Dwayne Brown.
A Serra Mesa woman who was killed this week in an apparent murder-suicide told police more than 1 year ago that her husband had choked and punched her. Police arrested Sakaya Southern July of last year and sent the case to the San Diego City Attorney's Office for prosecution. The City Attorney's Office says the woman, Portia Southern, later recanted. The office says it didn't file a case against the husband because she recanted and she had no visible injuries.
The county tax collector's office began mailing more than $1 million in property tax refunds today. The checks will go to the owners of 2,388 properties. They reassessed downward in the last 6 to 8 months. The county is mailing more than $1 million in refund checks before Christmas. The average refund is about $470, while the biggest check is nearly $16,000.
Hotelier Doug Manchester's interest in journalism may be expanding. The new owner of the San Diego Union Tribune may be looking to buy the North County Times. The online publication voiceofsandiego.org is reporting that Manchester is interested in the newspaper. When reached for comment, the UT's chief executive officer, John Lynch, would not elaborate. He only said, quote, "We're looking at all of our options to make what we do better."
San Diego County's population growth has declined along with the national average. Researchers at San Diego State say the main cause is the economic recession, but the long-term problem affecting growth appears to be the high cost of housing relative to wages here. Add in the recession, and the result is fewer people moving to San Diego than in the past. Researchers say it's more than a national trend. Migration from Mexico has declined as well.
The rope meant to keep a safe distance between people and the harbor seals at the Children's Pool in La Jolla was cut late last night or early this morning. Brian Peace is an attorney with the Animal Protection and Rescue League. He told KPBS this incident shows why the San Diego City Council's resolution to close the rookery during pupping season is important. Just last week, San Diego work crews put up a rope barrier to keep people away from the seals during pupping season. The cut rope was repaired by the city around noon today.
When you're ready to recycle your Christmas tree, the City of San Diego is ready to take it. There are 16 drop-off locations available to folks who live in the city. Curbside pickup available for folks who have those yard waste collection bins. Christmas trees are ground up, then turned into mulch or compost. Now, before dropping off your tree, of course, you should remove all the decorations. Flock trees are also accepted. You can drop it off for free before January 23rd. A full list of drop-off locations is on our website, kpbs.org. How will tens of thousands of troops returning from Iraq restart their lives? And what's in store for San Diego's economy next year? Amitha and her guests are talking about it at the Evening Edition Roundtable.
The Iraq War is officially finished, but another kind of battle lies ahead for the thousands of returning soldiers who face mental and physical injuries and the families of troops whose loved ones aren't coming home. Also, is a full economic recovery in store for San Diego County in 2012, or will the region's economy hobble along? Joining me is Los Angeles Times San Diego Bureau Chief Tony Perry and the Union Tribune's Dean Calbreth, who covers the economy and finance. Tony, let's start with you. The troops have come home from Iraq. What challenges do they face as they try to restart their lives?
Well, they face enormous challenges. They're coming back to an economy that's still very poor, and unemployment is up, and stats we've seen about veterans, their unemployment figures are even higher than their other demographic groups of similar age. For many of the veterans, of course, coming home from Iraq to Camp Pendleton, what they have now is Afghanistan. While the Iraq War did officially end last week, for the Marines at Pendleton, it really ended in '08 when they came home so that they could go to Afghanistan. But let's run some of the numbers just out of Iraq. 4,500 dead, one figure, 2,400 widows, 4,000 children of U.S. personnel. and they'll be dealing with the tragedy of loss of a father or a mother for a long time. Then, of course, as you suggest, the traumatic brain injury, the post-traumatic stress disorder that is afflicting large percentages of the troops, and they're going to be dealing with that for a long time. So the shooting is over. The shooting is over. Whether it's worth it or not is another question. But the shooting is over. But the impact and the cost of this war on America and Americans is continuing.
How helpful has the government been in helping these vets so far?
Somewhat helpful. The hiring by the federal government of veterans was higher last year than any time in a decade. Any number of programs to help them transition, any number of private industry programs. Is it enough? Probably not. Hard to cure one part of a sick economy while the rest of it is still floundering, and that's what we have. This is not an economy that's so robust that people can walk right in after being out of it for several years while their peer group was in it during those years hoping to advance their careers. Real difficult. And now, of course, as we trim the military budget, which doubled in the last 10 years, there are going to be layoffs. There's going to be decreased pensions they're talking about, and higher costs for medical care for military families. So they're going to be hit now with all those triple whammies that those of us in the private sector have seen recently. Layoffs, health care, and pension cuts. It's going to be very tough. There isn't going to be a parade home and a job waiting for a lot of these folks who served and sacrificed.
So aside from the economic costs on these families, there are emotional costs. 4,500 troops lost, leaving behind widows, widowers, and orphans, basically. You profiled a woman who was an Iraq War widow. Tell us about her story.
Karen Mendoza, her husband was Marine Major Ray Mendoza, killed in 2005, leading his troops from Camp Pendleton into combat near the Syrian border, leaving 2 children, now teenagers. Karen is a very brave woman, very strong woman. The last thing she talked to her husband about when he was in Iraq, he was asking her to please go to the hospital at Pendleton and look in on my wounded troops. So that's the kind of responsibility she has had. Very, very difficult. She makes no claim to being the perfect widow. She just says being a widow is a full-time job. What she wants to do, and I think it's very brave, is make sure the children know about their father, who was a larger-than-life figure. I knew him from Iraq, know about him and are inspired by him, but yet are not crushed by the fact he's not around. That's a very difficult balancing act that Karen Mendoza, I think, is doing magnificently. How well 2,000 plus other widows are doing, I just don't know. But that's the kind of coping and the kind of struggle that's going on across this country. Not equally spread. These are all volunteers. We've outsourced the idea of national security to volunteers. 1% of America served. The other 99% of us just got to go shopping and watch the war on television. It's sort of an inequality there, but that's America today.
And what we keep hearing, though, is that this war hasn't stopped for these people, for the families or for the troops. You have found that as well.
Sure. The shooting is over, but the war, the injuries for those who survived and the treatment they need is going on as we speak over at Naval Medical Center San Diego and in medical centers across the country. These new wounds, these new signature wounds, different than other wars because of the way this war recently has been fought with these explosive devices, these roadside bombs that can scramble the brains, frankly, that can cause amputations, all of which has to be dealt with. And also, frankly, people are surviving now because of the increased personal body armor. They're surviving wounds that they would have died from in Vietnam, but they're surviving and coming home with amputations and with psychiatric problems, all of which is going to have to be dealt with either through the private sector, the Naval Medical Center, or the VA.
I want to ask you one quick question before we move on to the economy. This war toppled Saddam Hussein. It established a democracy, albeit a weak one, as we saw from the bombings this week. It cost $1 trillion. That figure could double after health care costs and debt service. What's your sense about what the American public feels about whether this war achieved what it set out to do and whether it was worth the price?
Well, all the polls would suggest the answer to that is Americans don't believe this was worth it. The that the support for this war went south real quick when the insurgency kicked on in, say, 2004. 2003, we thought, hooray, Saddam has been deposed. He was hiding in a spider hole. We later found out. Everybody thought the war was over, mission accomplished, remember that? And then the insurgency kicked in, and support went south. Now, because support numbers are such and such, does that mean in the long run this is going to turn out not to be worth it for the American public? That's the damnable thing about the modern world. You have to live it forward. But knowing whether it's going to be in your best interests is long down the road. This isn't World War II. Kill Hitler in his bunker and the war with Germany was over. This war isn't going to be over for a long period of time. So the final analysis, did this make America a safer place? Did it make the world safer? Certainly it did when Saddam Hussein was hanged. But overall, that's yet to be decided.
Dean, on to the economy. The Anderson forecast, the UCLA Anderson forecast showed that California's job growth is outpacing the rest of the country's. In fact, San Diego's job growth, I believe, is at 2%. What does that mean for unemployment? Is it going to go down?
Unemployment has been going down, actually, and it's been going down possibly even more than what we've been told, which happens sometimes when the economy gets a footing, when the economy turns a corner and begins to strengthen, that you're judging it by the old standards of, oh, well, when we were in a recession it was this, so it must be this now. But we're finding that every time we look back at our numbers over the past few months, they're actually better than what we thought they were. So it looks like the economy is improving at a very slow rate. 2% would be a great rate if this was a healthy economy. For an economy coming out of a recession, you expect to see 3 to 5%. So we still need to grow faster, and we've still got a huge body of unemployed workers that need to find jobs.
So those who are employed, what is the outlook for personal income? Is their income going up? Is it going down? Is it remaining steady? What's happening?
You know, average personal income has been flat to declining, and I think that will continue to be the case for a little while. On the other hand, we are beginning to see some, especially in the professional fields, some people getting raises because things are tightening up there, and so seeking professionals, seeking computer support people, seeking accountants, whatever, the salaries are actually going up a little bit, but there's still a lot of jobless workers out there who are willing to work for, anything that they can get. So that's going to be a downward function on the income for a while.
What about home foreclosures? They were at their peak 2 years ago, but they remain high. Why is that?
Well, they remain high partly because we are shifting from. There were a lot of what's called the hidden inventory, the secret inventory of homes that had not been foreclosed upon because the banks didn't want these multi-million-dollar homes. Most of them are in upper-income neighborhoods. The banks didn't want them on their books, and so they didn't foreclose on them. Now we're beginning to see more and more foreclosures in the upper income neighborhoods. The lower income seem to have stabilized. But yeah, the foreclosures are continuing, and as a result, we're probably going to see home prices, the median home price, continue to decline a little bit this year. Some neighborhoods have bottomed out, and some are even coming back a little bit, but we'll probably see the median continue to decline.
Can San Diego's economy continue to handle this?
I think we are better positioned than a lot of places. I think that we've got a good diversity and everything that we always thought would make us recession-proof, which did not happen, but we've got a good diversity of professions here. But there are a lot of sharks in the water. There are... one of the things we face is the military. We face military cutbacks. San Diego has 25% of its economy tied to the military, both directly as well as indirectly through military contracting. So it's tied both to personnel as well as to contractors.
Can we vote ourselves a better economy? Can we pick out one of these mayoral candidates and say he or she will make a better economy for us?
I think that will be very difficult. I mean, a mayor can make some changes. We can do some things locally, but we are still prey to things beyond our control. One thing we are prey to is what's going to happen in Europe, whether it will cause a freeze in credit that's going to make it hard for businesses to gain money. Another thing that we can't really actively control right now is what's happening in Washington. The huge.
And we saw some of that this week.
We saw some of this week when they couldn't even decide to do a payroll tax. I mean, finally they've done it today. But the fact that this was such a big issue that should have been a no-brainer to most congressmen is just incredible.
Gentlemen, we're going to have to end it there. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
The Show Your Love San Diego survey is now reaching out to communities where English may not be the primary language. And we'll have another look at a remarkable exhibit at San Diego's Children's Museum where artists have turned garbage into art. This is KPBS Evening Edition.
Tonight on KPBS at 8, PBS's longest-running public affairs series, featuring Washington's top journalists analyzing the week's news stories. Washington Week with host Gwen Eiffel. Then at 8:30, broadcast media and the web unite with input from an engaged audience hungry for news on Need to Know. And at 9, 1,000 performers from LA's diverse neighborhoods represent on the LA Holiday Celebration. That's tonight on KPBS.
I'm Jeffrey Brown. On the next news hour, the payroll tax cut vote, GOP race for the White House, and Shields and Brooks. That's Friday on the PBS NewsHour.
In the last year, KPBS News has been honored with nearly 3 dozen awards. I'm extremely proud of these honors, and I thank you for your support as we continue to serve our local communities with award-winning news coverage in the years to come.
KPBS Evening Edition is made possible by Joan and Irwin Jacobs and by
A campaign to get public feedback on what San Diego needs to do to accommodate 1 million more people in 40 years is ramping up. The Show Your Love San Diego survey is now reaching out to communities where English may not be the primary language. The Pacific Islander community is one of the fastest growing in San Diego County, and in the next 40 years, 70% of our growth is expected to come from people who live here having children.
This is the survey here, using the iPad here.
Eric Luciano is a community organizer, trying to get at least 250 people to fill out this online survey. He says Filipinos represent about 7% of the county population.
On the flip side, they are the largest Asian Pacific Islander demographic in San Diego, who are still not represented, underrepresented in the community.
Luciano is part of the Consensus Organizing Center. It's joined forces with the San Diego Foundation to conduct the survey.
There's 30 of us, in which our job is to go out to the community with our iPads and basically hit the grounds and take 250 surveys per person.
He found a lively crowd at the Filipino Veterans Association in Golden Hill. This is their weekly Friday dance party.
This is a place where Filipinos, specifically Filipino veterans from World War II and from the Vietnam War, gather. So it's a good place to start.
The Show Your Love San Diego survey focuses on 4 different areas: jobs, education, housing redevelopment, and culture. Organizers are now trying to reach 9 different language groups ranging from Pashto, Spanish, Arabic, French, and Vietnamese, among others. Luciano says his next stop will be National City.
Because National City is also known as Little Manila, where Filipinos from National City all the way down to the South Bay go and do a lot of their shopping. So there's a lot of markets in National City, stores that are very unique to what Filipinos are used to back home.
You can voice your choice and see what others have to say about San Diego's future online at showyourlovesd.org. Higher than normal tides can be seen at San Diego beaches this weekend. San Diego coastkeeper says it's a glimpse of the impact of rising sea levels due to global warming. The king tides are several inches higher than normal. These are images from community members from the last king tide in February. Environmental groups want folks in beach communities to again document the flooding effects of the tide. They say it's a way to predict the impact of rising sea levels. Some environmentalists predict sea level rise in the county could increase up to 1.5 feet by 2050. King tides will return in late January. To learn more or submit your photos, go to californiakingtides.org.
The Sheriff's Department is offering home vacation checks for people who are out of town this holiday season. The department's senior volunteer patrol checks doors, windows, and garages. They move newspapers and packages into yards or onto back patios so they're not visible from the street. Also this holiday season, members of the Sheriff's Volunteer Patrol will distribute holiday baskets to senior citizens living alone as part of the You Are Not Alone program. For more information about these programs, contact the San Diego County Sheriff's Department at 858-974-2001.
San Diego and Imperial County labor unions joined the United Way this morning to distribute food and toys to needy families. Turkeys, food bags, dolls, and bikes were collected throughout the year for the event. The group handed out the free gifts in the parking lot at Qualcomm Stadium. Lorena Gonzalez says she's been doing it for the past 5 years.
Before the recession, we were only serving about 200 families, and so we definitely, the last 2 years, we've grown to 500 to 800, and so it's definitely increased.
If you were to look in your garbage can right now, would you be able to make a beautiful sculpture out of your trash? KPBS arts reporter Angela Carone takes us to an exhibit at San Diego's new Children's Museum where artists have turned garbage into art.
For most of us, this is just trash. But for artists, this can be both inspiration and material. Caves can be made out of cardboard, plastic bags turn into jellyfish, and garbage bags can come to life.
They're making the journey of what happens from the moment you put trash into your black or blue recycling can at home, and how does it end up at Miramar landfill. And I think there's something in that magic of the transformation of trash into something else that every kid connects to.
Trash is the latest exhibit to go on view at the new Children's Museum in downtown San Diego.
And our audience is not a sophisticated art audience. They're 2, 3, 7 years old, and we know that for them, transformation gets their attention, that act of magic.
We visited some of the artists as they were installing their pieces for trash. Jason Rognes makes large spaceship-looking sculptures out of the styrofoam inserts used to package electronic equipment.
Like for me, like the simple manipulation of a material into something completely different, like something even otherworldly, is like one of the real kind of joys and fascinations that I have with working with the material.
Inspired by the foam waves create when they crash to shore, Jessica McCamley created a piece out of white plastic bags.
White plastic bags seem like the perfect solution. They allow light to pass through, they can be dense when they're built up, they can have this kind of translucence. You can have this very meditative moment with that, and then you have the reality of what that is and what's going to happen when that bag lands.
McCamley hopes kids will lie down under her piece and unwind. Of course, with young ones, unwinding can be a challenge. Curator Rachel Teagle hopes trash helps educate kids and their families.
We know that in the area of environmental sustainability, kids are already the leaders in their home, teaching their parents about why plastic grocery bags can really hurt sea life. We know that kids are already way ahead of us adults on issues of recycling. And what I really hope we can achieve is to empower kids to help change the behaviors at home.
That's KPBS reporter Angela Carone. Trash is currently on display at the new Children's Museum downtown through 2013. Up next in the public square, reaction to the last-minute deal in Congress to extend payroll taxes and unemployment benefits. This is KPBS Evening Edition.
Where can you learn the history and uncover the treasures of our region? Right here on KPBS. First, on Ken Kramer's About San Diego, discover the little-known stories behind the things and places in San Diego we see every day. Then on Crossing South, host Jorge Meraz explores Baja, Mexico, and gets to know the places frequented by the locals. Get to know the people, the food, and the customs of our neighbor to the south, only on Crossing South, starting January 5th on KPBS.
Hi, I'm Elsa Sevilla. If you find yourself hearing about a great program on KPBS after it's already aired, we have a solution. Get notified about your favorite TV programs on KPBS before they air by subscribing to the TV Highlights email alert. This daily email will feature the best programs coming up right here on KPBS TV, so you can make a date to tune in or plan to record it. It's easy to register. Just go to kpbs.org/alerts.
Welcome back to the Public Square on KPBS Evening Edition. Congress has agreed to extend unemployment benefits and a payroll tax cut for 2 months. The deal was reached at the 11th hour. The tax cut and unemployment benefits were to expire in 8 days. The agreement followed an earlier House vote this week to reject the extensions and several days of angry political exchanges. This, even though polls show most Americans wanted the extension. What do you think this says about how agreements are now forged in Washington? Patrick on Facebook says he's continually disappointed by the drama. And several of our other viewers expressed frustration at the way Congress is running. Can our government only work when it is facing a crisis? The extensions expire in 2 months. What would you like to see Congress do in those 2 months? You can weigh in on the conversation by following us on Twitter, liking us on Facebook, and of course, you can email us. And now, Dwayne has a recap of tonight's top stories.
When you're ready to recycle your Christmas tree, the City of San Diego is ready for you. There are 16 drop-off locations available to city residents. The county tax collector's office began mailing more than $1 million in property tax refunds today. The checks will go to the owners of 2,388 properties. The refund should arrive in the mail by tomorrow. And you can watch and comment on any of the stories you saw tonight on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great night and a Merry Christmas. We leave you with a look at the forecast.